Oh, hello. Well, as you can see, we have two hand planes, two number 6 hand planes, 4 planes. That they are. This is the record number 6 4 plane, and you're wondering why is that angle finder sitting on it? Well, I'll explain in a minute. But also, we have this one here, which is a budget offering by Axminster. I can't remember how old it is. My dad bought this. My son's had it for a bit. It got all rusty. I had to clean it up, and that's in another video. Well, I come across a few problems with it. Okay? Yeah, and one of them is quite a major problem if you haven't got the ability to sort it out. It creates crepe paper shavings like that, as you can see. They're awful. Awful shavings. But then it also produces good shavings like that. It's hit and miss. Now, providing the shavings can get out, you're okay. But this hand plane is so badly designed, it restricts the shavings from being able to escape the mouth of the plane by the chip breaker. Yeah, I'll explain to you why in a moment. Now, fundamentally, the two planes are very, very similar. You know, they're okay, apart from the weight. That weighs about half a kilo more than this one. Than the record, yeah. But also, the plane irons in this one, which I've upgraded to be fair, they're not the original plane irons, are definitely superior to the actual Axminster Rider number 6. But I have to admit, it's not a bad plane iron. No, it holds its edge okay, it's fine. But the casting, oh my God. And also, the actual lever cap, which isn't a lever, it's actually a screw cap in this case. Yeah, it's a little screw there, as you can see. All right. Now, the angles are very similar, you see. There's about a degree between them, as you see on that one there. And I replace it on the Axminster, you know, the frog angle is pretty much the same, within a degree. So, okay, not too bad, is it? So what is the problem with this Axminster Rider hand plane, all right? Now, I imagine it's probably the same on many budget variety hand planes, because I think this one I've seen under different, very similar, I think, was it Rockler or one of them? Well, another, oh crikey, what was it, Rockridge or something? Anyway, another hand plane manufacturer looked identical to this, and probably came out of the same factory. So this is an Indian, an Indian export, so it was a bit shoddy. Now, I have put it through the older, through my series of improvements. One is flatten the flip and sole because it was, you know, hollowed in the middle. So I managed to sort of level it out a bit on the, and from end to end as well, wasn't right. So I managed to sort that out. I did that in another video. Also, I took off the old syrupy like varnish that was on the handles, which was nasty. I don't know why they put that stuff on. It might be easier to just put oil on. Yeah, it's just oil the flipping things. You know, they actually look quite nice wood now. You know, I know that doesn't change the actual performance of the hand plane, but it does change the comfort. Shiny, nasty handles are uncomfortable. They make your hands sweat. Handles where the wood can breathe allows your hands to breathe. Yeah? The other thing I don't like about it is the adjuster screw. This one here, okay? The little turn screw. It's all nailed and what have you. Looks very similar on the face of it to this record. But that was all the little grippy bits on there. They're sharp. You know? Talk about gripping, just rip your skin off your fingers if you're not careful. So, yeah, but that's not the problem with the hand plane. No, okay, that's something you can just deal with. And to be fair, you could just polish that up, buff that up, and you know, you could get rid of that if you wanted to. You could even replace it with maybe one of Ross Cosman's, you know, old-fashioned cross-tap tap type they put on some of their hand planes. I don't particularly like them. I prefer a round one myself. But my favourite one would be on the this one, which I didn't think it would be its Wartime Effort number 5 Stanley Bailey hand plane, which I've also restored, and this is lovely to use. I'm so pleased with that, and I've also fitted the Chinese plane iron. I'm so impressed with it. But this one has a Bakelite adjuster on it. I actually really like that, and because the mechanism now is so free and easy and it's accurate, they don't have hardly any slop in it, whereas the Axminster has a lot of slop in it. So you have to be really careful, you know, when you're retracting the plane iron using the, because there's so much slop. That's how much slop there is. If you look on that there, that's how far it has to go in and out, or out and in, before it actually does anything. So it has a lot of play in it. It's not very well machined. You know, that yoke basically is too slack, which is the funny little stirrup thing there. It's too slack in the groove of the adjuster. So you have to make sure when you pull the plane iron out that you go forward a couple of turns to actually push the plane iron back down again, or push the actual the lever up against the blade. Otherwise, while you're using it, the blade will constantly be shunting backwards. So it's not a big deal. It's just things you've got, you know, in your head, you just do it anyway now. And I do that with all my hand planes, just that some don't require as much as others. Now, let me show you the really stupid thing about this hand plane. All right, let's get to the point, shall we, Marcus? Yeah, let's put this one over here for a second. We'll come back to the record in a minute. But if we remove the... Oh, crikey, I'm dropping things. Oh, blimey. Maybe I've got my pen back now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line, all right? I don't really want to draw a line on after I cleaned it all off. So I'm going to draw a line just there so I can show you what I mean regarding the actual lever cap, which is screw cap, sorry. And in relationship to the record. Now, the problem is with this plane, these shavings are not getting out fast enough. No, they're being restricted. That's why they're going all crinkly. Instead of just breaking the chip breaker, breaking it, it's kind of like gathering it into this funny like crepe paper shavings instead of like that. Not every time, but a lot of the time. Too often, in fact. And what happens is, if it keeps doing it, the whole thing will just clog up and it'll all jam in behind the actual chip breaker and the plane iron. And you've got to take a whole lot out every flipping time, clean it up, and just so you can carry on planing your wood. It's annoying, but it is. That little bit, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, so let's remove the cap, the screw cap. As you can see, that is the screw cap. That is a bad design. I'll show you why in a moment. And the actual plane iron and its chip breaker assembly, and it has already started pushing little shavings between the chip breaker and the plane iron. And the chip breaker is flat on the back, just so you know. You must make sure that the actual chip breaker is flat on the back, otherwise it won't marry up with the actual plane iron very well. So I'm not worried about that at the moment. All right, that isn't too bad. But what you can see here, I've got a line on there, all right? Okay, let's move this one out of the way for the moment as well. And bring forward the record, and I'm going to show you I'll do the same with that. I don't really want to mark it, but I'm going just so you can see. If I put that there and that there, there's a reason why I'm marking it. So I can line it up for you. All right, so let's remove this chip breaker assembly, which is the Clifton, and it's got the Victor forged plane iron. Now, the fundamental difference, they've got a line for the thickness of the actual pen as well. Let's move this back over here. This is so stupid. I mean, this is ridiculously stupid. Now, the height of the actual chip breaker is in a similar position to the actual Victor, the Clifton. If you look at that, it's in a similar position there to the actual Axminster. Okay? But if I put this lever cap, which is a Leonard Bailey patented design, and line up with my two marks that I just created there, okay? I'll grip that, like so. And as you can see, that's right. As you can see, the chip breaker sits on the height, just on the highest part of the actual chip breaker. Okay, can you see that? Yeah. Well, allow me to show you the Axminster and how ridiculous it is. And this is one of the biggest. It's not the only problem. There's two big issues with that plane which need to be addressed. All right. Now, bearing in mind, I've already done some work with this, as in cleaned up the leading edge and what have you, because it wasn't flat again, it wasn't straight either. So I just want, to tidy it up a bit. But the problem is, it's just so stupid. Now, I'm going to put where it is alone for the thickness of the actual line that the marker pen created. Oh my God, that's so stupid. Look at that. Can you see the problem? You've created a hook, yeah? Literally where the chip breaker is, the height of the chip breaker is actually underneath, or a quarter of an inch under the actual screw cap. What would be the lever cap if it was Stanley Bailey. Now, is that stupid or what? If you ask me, it's idiotic. It really is. I hope you could see that, right? Look at that. Can you see that? That little grappling thing is going to grab your shaving, and instead of the chip breaker being able to ride, the shaving being able to ride over. Let's get this right back here. Ride over the actual chip breaker, it gets caught underneath the screw cap. That's what's happening with these. They're getting caught underneath it and then rackles up like that, like a flipping bit of crepe paper, and then it goes back on itself and just creates a big mess inside your hand plane. How stupid is that? That is just a fundamental. That's stupidity. That's idiocy. What on earth were they thinking? Remember, they're churning these things out like nobody's business, but they're selling so many of them, they don't care about customer satisfaction because people are just buying on price. Now, in the end of the world, you can do something about it, but unfortunately, there ain't a lot you can do about it. Now, one of the things you can do about it is obviously shorten the lever cap. But the problem is with it, this one, if you look at the casting here, you need to almost remove all of that part that actually makes contact with the actual with the chip breaker. Yeah, because of where it comes, it almost hooks it over the top. But you could improve it. You could improve it. So let's say, for argument's sake, I reckon you could probably get away with removing all of this. Let me get my pen again. It's so stupid, it really is. Getting rid of all of this. I don't know if you've got the same problem on the old hand plane where you've got these weird shavings coming out, and maybe not all the time, but if you have a look and see whether or not your lever cap is interfering with the shavings actually being able to escape. So if you remove that much of it, but just leaving like 1 millimetre, 2 millimetre of the actual the cap, well then you might stand a chance of actually getting the shavings out. You see what I'm saying? So, but you can't remove all that flat area, otherwise you won't have a flat bit putting this pressure on top of the actual plain iron assembly. It's just so stupid. But that's not the only problem. I think it's time to get on to the other issue with this hand plane. I do apologise if the video is getting a little bit on the long side, but I just felt we had to share this because it's just such stupidity. And you know, an indicator of an idiot, definition of idiot is somebody who keeps making the same mistake again and again and again. Well, that's obviously the people who make these Axminster planes, because they've been shelling out flipping thousands of the things out of their factories. Now, the other problem, oh dear. This one is quite easy to fix, but will require a bit of work. Now, when you've got your plain iron assembly mounted inside the actual plane itself, like so, okay, you need a certain amount of room in front of the plane iron for the actual shaving to freely to escape. Yeah? And you want it to escape at the right angle. Right? Unfortunately, the bottom of this, the sole of this hand plane is literally the same, apart from that rib on the front and the rib on the back, which is a brilliant idea, I have to admit, I agree with that. It's the same thickness all the way through the hand plane body. And I know you can say, oh, well, aren't they all? No, they're not. No. This part will be. This part up to the actual cross brace where the actual plain iron assembly is, that'll be all the same thickness. But when it gets to the mouth, it should taper down and reduce in thickness to the mouth of the actual hand plane. And that reduces the amount of restriction on the shave and being able to escape. Now, allow me to show you on this one here. Is there a way I can get a measurement in there? I can't, no. The verniers won't fit in there. But anyway, I might be able to actually with my micrometer. That might do it. Let's have a look. If I can get the micrometer over there, it is. Right, all right, let's have a look. We'll actually better just double check the reach first. Ooh, I might be able to. It's going to take a bit of unscrewing, that it is. Should have thought of that, shouldn't I? Well, one of the reasons this is an issue is at the point of the mouth, it's going to be whatever thickness. Oh, yeah, I think I can do it. Whatever thickness the actual micron. Oh, God, no, it's not going to do it. No, it's not going to do it. Let's put that to one side. Basically, this looks like in here, it's about 5 millimetres thick. Let's double check. I can check that, I suppose. It is. It's 4, maybe 5 millimetres thick. Oh, that's way I do it. I do it from this side. Yeah. Blimey, it's more than... No, it's 5 millimetres thick. Maybe 5.5 millimetres thick is the actual thickness of the mouth at the front of the mouth. All right? Now, let's have a look at the record. Now, the record has the same sort of thickness of bar. I think that's slightly thinner, actually. I think it's now 4 mil. Yeah, the sole of the hand plane is 4 millimetres, whereas the Axminster is 5 millimetres. Some people might say it's a better thing, but this is a far nicer thing to use anyway. But where the actual shavings come out of the mouth, on the leading edge, on the front edge of that mouth, that casting tapers down to 3 millimetres. So you've got 2.5 to 3 millimetres more in the way of the shaving coming out. But what you could do to rectify that, you could file, take a bit of time, all right, and also access is terrible, so you have to bear that in mind. But if you can file away, or grind, even if you've got a die grinder or one of them multi-tools, the little multi-drill things, what are they called again? oh, I can't remember called now. You know, that little Dremel or something. And if you could grind that away at an angle, carefully does, obviously, so you're reasonably accurate, but so it tapers back that way. So you create maybe, I don't know, 30 degrees deflections to give more room for the shavings to come out. Because when you put your plane on assembly in there, you're reducing the amount of space in front of the assembly to the front of the actual mouth as well, because of the chip brake assembly. You're basically just closing it off. And if you file that back here on the plane iron body, don't open the plane iron mouth up any more than it is, just angle that back, and you'll find that'll make a massive difference to the actual hand plane. Now, it's such a shame really, because it is actually not a bad tool in many ways. In other ways, it is diabolical. So the solution is file your mouth, okay? But also grind back and polish up the cap so effectively it's shorter. Now, if there was a way of moving that screw back, but there isn't. No, there's no room to do that, so you can't do that. The other option, or if it was possible, I don't know if it was cast though, isn't it? The other option would be to actually change the position of the hole for the actual. So you actually pull this back like so, yeah? So it sits further back in the hand plane body. Now, could you do that by filling that with weld? Maybe then re-drilling it and filing it about so you've got a new key further, lower down the actual cap. Is that a possibility? So if you understand what I mean. So basically, you would create a hole. You'd remove some of the material at the bottom here, like so, but also fill in some material here. So put a bit of weld in there, if you can weld this, that is. You know, you might get somebody to do it for you, even braze it, I don't know. But also here. So effectively moving that keyhole further down the actual cap. Then by doing that, you'll be moving the actual cap further up. And bear in mind the screw, no, there's plenty of room there. No, there's plenty of room for the actual screw to put pressure on the lever, on the chip brake assembly there. So, yeah. That's so stupid, isn't it? It really is stupid. It frustrates the hell out of me, I'll tell you. The idiocy of it all. So anyway, watch that. Yeah, if you're going to buy yourself a budget hand plane, there's a distinct possibility, if your shavings aren't coming out reliably decent like that, well, there's a distinct possibility you might have this issue, especially if you're getting that. Okay? Oh, crikey, I'm going to have to lay down. Toodaloo! Oh yeah, boot the old like button, helps the channel, you know. Yeah, and share.